Morocco was our first partner on the African continent back in 1962 when Korea and Morocco established their diplomatic relations. And immediately after the normalization took effect in July 1962, we established the embassy here in September the same year. But it took some time for Moroccan government to establish its own permanent mission in Korea, which happened in '88. So in the meantime, the Moroccan Foreign Office took care of the Korean or related matters from its mission in Tokyo. At the moment, I would like to highlight the two aspects from Morocco, which we find it very conducive to start this real projects for cooperation. For Morocco's external policies, we notice that, Morocco has been a traditional partner with the European continent and also with the African countries. But we are also happy to note that Morocco is also diversifying its external partners. So we have seen Morocco making inroads in relations with Israel, and Morocco has also been maintaining quite balanced approach when there was a conflict in the Gulf among Qatar, UAE, and Saudi Arabia. So that's something that we noticed. And also, secondly, Morocco has concluded many free trade agreements. Now I understand it numbers up to 55, including EU, America, and other African countries, and Egypt and Jordan and other Middle Eastern countries as well. And Morocco is also investing quite heavily within Africa. And also Morocco is giving aid to the African partners. So this second point is important in the sense that Morocco could act as a gateway to the African continent for a non-regional partner like Korea. When it comes to more specific sectors, looking at your new development model and also what His Majesty has said in his enthronement speech, I actually would like to propose 3 sectors. In addition, especially as potentially attractive sectors that we can also invest in and also trade with Morocco. And that is, first is climate change. Other one is health sector and science and technology in general. So when it comes to climate change, you said LNG. Yes, LNG is cleaner than coal when it comes to the power generation. At the moment, we are exporting most of our LNG needs from the Gulf suppliers. I don't know if Morocco, I have not heard that Morocco is producing any LNG at the moment, but if there is a potential, then of course we can look into this. But at the same time, I'm also focusing on the hydrogen potential. So I heard, from the Moroccan newspaper that you are now coming up with some kind of a national plan to promote hydrogen. So for hydrogen, hydrogen is something that we consider as the new or the next generation source of energy for it being very clean when it is consumed. So at the moment, Korean companies are leaders in the e-mobility or hydrogen mobility. So Hyundai Kia Motors in our country is the world's first company in the world to mass produce hydrogen cars. So, and also the hydrogen, but the hydrogen needs that we have with the hydrogen cars that we are producing and those are which are running around in Korea, we actually can take care of our hydrogen needs by using the hydrogens which can be produced when we refine the LNGs or from other industrial processes. But when our needs exceed and when we are using hydrogen more and more in our power generation, then we'll have more needs for hydrogen. So at the moment, we are trying to find the source of hydrogen from some companies in Australia and also in Europe. So Australians, they have abundant coal. So at the moment, they are trying to produce hydrogen using coal, but since coal is dirty energy, this can be considered something called the gray hydrogen. But we don't want that. We would want more clean, green hydrogen sources. So if Morocco can somehow be able to produce hydrogen en masse using its renewable energy technology, and somehow we can find ways to liquefy the hydrogen and sell it to Korea, that'll be an excellent model of cooperation. So I am thinking of depending on the COVID situation, I would like to invite some hydrogen people in my country, namely academia, the companies, and the industrial association, to actually come to Morocco and talk with their counterparts in Morocco. So maybe having some kind of a workshop. We are holding this with Europe and Australia quite a lot. So I am actually thinking of doing that to find maybe some mutual interest in that field. Secondly, it's the health, and namely the vaccines. So in the beginning of our interview, as I said, well, Korea and Morocco, we are all buying our vaccines from the foreign makers. You are using the Chinese vaccine, Sinopharm, as your main vaccine. Actually, we bought everything from the global market, except for the Chinese and Russian vaccines. And we are now vaccinating our people. But we all know that this pandemic will continue. And now the pandemic is becoming an endemic. So we will have to live with this pandemic or endemic for quite a long time from now on. So in order for us to better cope with this and also with the variants, it is very critical that we develop our own vaccines. So Korea is now developing its own vaccine. But the big issue for us is the lack of patients needed for the trials. So maybe Morocco and Korea can cooperate in the vaccine development at the trial stage.